We are back with Ashley Seal from Private Eye Investigation. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So, to our listeners, viewers, who are you and what do you do?
All right. Well, my name is Ashley Seal. I am the owner and founder of Private Eye Investigations. So I am a private investigator.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm sitting beside a private investigator. You know, the last time I encountered, I can say because I don't actually know the person, was watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and Kim Kardashian was investigating stuff. She's actually pretty good at doing it. She's actually pretty good. I don't know if you do watch the Kardashians, but she's really good at investigating. I mean, she can get into people's voicemails, like not being in the same room as a person type thing. She's really good. But so we checked out your website, and from what we understand, it says that you're raised in an intelligence environment. So tell us more about your investigation background and what led you to it.
Okay. So I was raised in the environment of the intelligence world. I have to be very broad about that. I can't really say much more than that.
Right.
But I guess I've always been intrigued with the unknown, with the wanting to, discover something that somebody's trying to hide. I've always kind of been drawn towards the security aspect of any type of career. I worked as a security, as a loss prevention officer when I was 16 or 17. I was a prison guard for the RCMP in the Northwest Territories for a while. Something I wouldn't do it again, but it was fun. And when I worked in the government, I did also a lot of screenings for immigrants that wanted to work in Canada in our airports or train stations or anything like that, anything transport and federal. So I did a lot of background checks on them, and I got really intrigued because it was kind of if they're trying to hide something, it's not evident, but you gotta find it, and that just kind of really opened my eyes. And I was about 17 when I took on that contract, so
wow.
I was quite young, and I guess doing mundane other tasks and other jobs just really made me believe that my passion was in investigating somehow.
Okay.
So, speaking about investigation, Ashley,
Yes.
how was your first investigation like? So, what was it?
Okay, so that's interesting. So my very first case with this company was an infidelity case of all things, right? Very cliche, but I loved it, and I loved the fact that that's what it was, because prior to that, I had no experience in infidelity prior to what you see on TV or, what you think it really means. But this particular case, it was, a married couple. They've been together for over 30 years. They have 4 grown children, and that's when you kind of put into perspective what people are really capable of. So I was able to now see on one hand, what somebody could do to their vows, to their family, to their children, what risks they're willing to take for their own pleasure. So it was an eye-opening experience. It was long shifts. I didn't have staff at that time. This was my very first case there. I was all excited. But it was 12 hours a day in a vehicle, following somebody around, trying to see if it's true, if it's not, what they're doing. Finally, it was true. It's very unfortunate, dealing with clients that are crying and children that, don't know what's going on. And to the target, you're the, world's worst enemy because you found out the truth. But then it really made me also realize that I don't want to do infidelity cases again. I take them on, and I have employees that handle it now. But I'm a hopeless romantic, right?
Yeah.
So being able to see what somebody's willing to do to somebody else for their own benefit, their own gain, breaks my heart. I hate seeing that. I hate telling my client, this is what's, what I saw, or these are the pictures, or these are the videos, and then it's, I don't deal with that very well, so my employees handle it.
But what if someone says, I want Ashley to do it?
Then I'll do it.
Okay.
Definitely. It's just not my preference. We still have to be able to separate ourselves from the environment we're in as PIs, right? So whatever I see, I can't get emotionally attached. I can't be biased. I have to really, I'm not me. In that moment, I'm playing the character of a private investigator, but I'm not me emotionally. But when you go back home, that's when it's different because everything gets real. You're writing the reports, you're looking at the pictures, and that's when you're like, oh my God, why can this person do this? Or, why would they even want to?
Wow.
So, but if they want me to do it, by all means, of course I'll do it. But
Good.
yeah.
Situations when, for example, certain cases are true, and you break it down, is there still like a disbelief from, I would say, like the clients, like no, it's still not true? Have you ever encountered situations like that?
Yeah, but from the other perspective more. So I have clients that will hire me for same thing, like let's just stay on like the infidelity type topic, and we follow their spouse, and it could be every day for 6 months, and I could tell you, they're at the gym Monday, they're doing groceries Tuesday, like I can tell you their schedule to this day, it's like engraved in my head, but they're so convinced that their spouse is cheating on them that they won't see that the facts are right there in front of them that they're not. Like they can't, and in their head they're like, no. But then certain cases that I've had like that though, like you start looking into it and then you realize that your client's hiding something, not your target, right? So then it's like, okay, and then I have to sit down with my client and make them understand that your wife or husband's not doing anything wrong. I can't, like I'm not gonna take any more of your money. Like this is it, like I can't. But know that your guilt is what's eating you up at this because you're the one that's turning it around and you're the one that's doing him
I can't
wrong.
believe this is a thing.
Wow. It's so crazy.
What?
So
Yeah.
insane.
Someone would turn it around.
They're literally turning up because of their way.
But in a way, isn't it like not wasting your time?
It's wasting our time, it's wasting their money, but at the end of the day, like, we don't know the answer until we know the answer.
Yeah.
So if it could take us a weekend to find out somebody's doing something, but it could also take us 6 months, right? Because that one day we're not doing surveillance, it could be the one day that they're cheating, so that's why we're on them for so long, and then like the social media, like everything.
Wow.
And it's like, there's really nothing going on. But then we gotta wonder, why is our client willing to spend so much money and like losing sleep over this? But then it's realizing like, okay, it's not what we think it is, it's something completely different. So as, they're paying me to kind of figure something out, so sometimes I do what they don't think I'm gonna do in order to find the answer, which was that case.
Wow.
Wow.
She's gonna catch you either way, guys. So, I mean.
Like, it's only a matter of time, to be honest with you.
Seriously.
Sit back and relax.
What are some top skills one should have to be a good investigator? Are there any tricks you can share with our viewers and listeners?
Okay, so tricks. Know your technology. Be good with your phone. Don't be naive. Be good at social media.
1 second, what does that mean, be good with your phone?
Well, there's a lot of things that can happen with your phone that you don't know about, right? Like if somebody wants to hack into your phone, they can have the ability to have access to your camera or your mic without you even realizing that somebody can listen and see what you're doing or saying. So if you've got something to hide and you got people that, really want in on you, well, figure out your phone. Same thing with your laptop, like the little camera on your laptop, if your laptop's open 24/7, you don't realize somebody could be watching you the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, it's just know your technology, know your surroundings, anything that has an in and out kind of connection. So, that and GPS devices and all that kind of stuff, everything is hackable. Everything is hackable. And people are so good at it. It's insane. There's 12-year-olds that can hack your phone.
What?
Same thing with social media. Like, there's so many scams now. Don't be naive. Don't be ignorant either. But don't be naive to, the scams that people send you emails and it's like, oh my God, is that you? Click this. And then now somebody now has access to your Facebook account. Now has access to, so know your stuff. And that happens way too often. I have so many fraud cases where it's exactly that. Or catfishing. Those on Instagram or Tinder or
Facebook.
Any of
They're
that.
like that one profile picture just had Facebook 3 days ago.
Yeah. But it could be more than that, right? Like I've seen cases where this person takes on this identity to a point where it's surreal. You think that it's them. They will call you on the phone, everything. and it turns out to be somebody halfway across the world masking their voice, whatever it is, but they their life depends on really screwing up somebody emotionally.
The disrespect.
I know people have so much time to waste. Isn't that so much work though? Don't you get exhausted? Like
you're Brendan, but you're Brendan, but you're really not Brendan. You're like Jacob. That's so stupid.
Or Barry.
Oh my gosh.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So that would be really the tricks. It's just know your stuff. Don't be naive. Skills also, be really good at decision making. Be quick on your feet. You don't have to be the most intelligent person, but think outside the box. So if it's like a puzzle, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's everything that we do. It's literally we gotta find a missing piece to this puzzle. Or if you've ever done escape rooms or escape manners, it's how are you gonna get out of? And every single step is this mystery. So you gotta figure out, put the numbers together, and you gotta be good at that because every case we have.
So question for you, Ashley, is being a private investigator as well, like you said, you spend countless hours, trying to figure out cases and stuff like that. Have you ever encountered a situation where it became dangerous? Because to me it's like, hey, are you following me? Or hey, who are you?
That's a good question. Yes, absolutely. Dangerous for myself and for my employees. And as soon as it gets dangerous for my employees, that's where I get protective, right? They're my employees, they're my staff, we're like family at this point. They've been with me for a long time. I'm like the mother. I need to protect them. So about last summer, probably the most dangerous summer of them all, but my employee almost got ran off the road by somebody at Target. Well, they weren't our target, but our target ended up getting in her vehicle and tried to run her off the road, and that got really dangerous really fast because it was in an area that something could have happened and nobody would have known for a very long time. So that was dangerous, and the honking and the screaming and so that was fun to be at. I'm glad that I was there. I was not very far. We were both we were partners that night. So yeah, but then there's also where I got chased by a baseball bat.
What?
So that happens as well.
No.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So wear a helmet. No, I'm just kidding. But no, seriously. It's depending on situations. At that point, I knew I was putting myself in a risky decision. We had all of the evidence. We were confirmed. Now it's a point where it's my client's decision. What do you want to do? Do you want to walk into the situation head on? Do you want me to call the police because the situation's escalated? Or do you want us to be there as witnesses? You do what you have to do, and then we're there as your protection. And that's the option he took. And us as his protection got a aluminum baseball bat swung at us and chased us. So
wait,
and a beer can thrown.
God, okay, you can't see this person because he's taking pictures and he's behind the scenes. But do you witness these things? Oh my goodness! Wow.
Yeah. So that was a case and a half.
Okay, but so now I would say this is a perfect question to ask.
Yeah.
Do you carry self-defense weapons?
That's a question I'm not gonna answer.
No, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna keep it very pepper spray.
Okay.
So.
You see, I'm right there.
So legally, Canada, pepper spray is illegal, but you can have bear mace. You can have stuff for camping or hunting. You can carry that. So I'm gonna say that's what I had in my purse.
Okay.
But also when you're doing certain types of surveillance, if you're witnessing something and you want to do a citizen's arrest, well, we have things for that as well. So we don't have handcuffs, but we have other ways to kind of detain the person or keep them there. But then I always have my personal other things in my purse or in my vehicles at all times. Just should anything happen, I'm ready for either protecting myself or defending myself, whatever happens.
Okay. Don't ask anything like that. Yeah. For the rest of the interview.
I got you. How can people request your service, and is there a process?
Email, call. We do have Facebook, a website, and whatnot. there is a process of filling out, the client contract, non-disclosure agreement, that kind of stuff. But essentially, give us all the information you have, and the most important, and it's really, really common sense, but clients don't get it, let us do our job. That's it. So not necessarily like get out of our way, but give us breathing room that we can actually work. Because if you're micromanaging us, that means me and my, we feel kind of choked up and we're not seeing the big picture.
Wow. All right. So before we end, you've had accomplishments.
Yes.
So what would you say is the one you're most proud of?
Well, honestly, being nominated as a finalist for the Businesswoman of the Year award for my first year in business. That was huge. That was, it kind of took my breath away. Like, I got an email with all the information and I deleted it because I thought it was spam. And then they called me and they're like, the deadline's tomorrow, we really need you to submit your paper. I'm like, for what? And I'm like, oh my god, yeah, I deleted that. They're like,
it's not.
yeah. They're like, what do you mean you deleted it? We need you to submit it. And it took me like 6 hours to fill out all the information they wanted, and then I ended up as a finalist, and I was like, are you kidding?
Oh my god.
Note to self, don't delete random emails that actually look important. Yeah.
Oh my god. So Tino, how are we doing on time?
Yes, doing
We're
good.
good? Okay. So we've asked our listeners, our viewers,
Yes.
to send us their questions because this, honestly guys, this is the week. If you had them, you had to send them because this was the week. So we have 3 questions and they're like, for the most part, I think relationship ones.
Perfect.
So the first one being, what is the best way to meet someone? How would you say that? From your perspective.
From my perspective, not the way I met my partner. Best way, honestly, it's just real world, outside, in at a Starbucks or right here just downtown walking around. I don't necessarily suggest at a pub or at a bar necessarily, or at a club I should say. Unless you're 16, 17 and it's nothing really serious you're looking for, by all means. Online, and be really careful because of the whole catfishing thing. And we've all had friends with the stories of, oh my god, it's not what they look like on their picture. It may happen to you too. So online, I'd be really careful unless you know how to do your own checks. Unless you really know how to okay, this is the person I want to meet, let me make sure he or she is legit.
Okay.
But just be careful.
And then for the second question, how can you tell if you're being catfished or not?
So it depends, right? Sometimes it's really obvious with the one picture, or they've only really had the network for a couple of days or something like that. Then it's really it looks fake, right? But on the whole other hand, when there's the people that really have 50,000 pictures of themselves or of the individual, even videos, and it's constantly updating, anything of that sort, then I would say take the information, look it up, Google it, YouTube it, really see, because then you'll be able to find if there's a second account. So then you'll find the real person's account and then see their wife or their husband's account or their kid's account. So if you could, and that's why I'm know your social media, know your technology, know how to be the Kim Kardashian you want to be. So you kind of just look things up and don't be embarrassed to be that person. You're oh my god, I'm being such a creep, I'll stop. No, you have no idea what they know on you, right? And you have no idea who these people really are. They could be your neighbor, or they can be halfway around the world sitting in a basement and the opposite sex that they're even saying they are.
Wow.
So crazy, just to think somebody would do that.
I know.
Till this day, it's mind blowing.
Yeah. The last question is, so after you've gathered evidence, how hard is it usually to digest for the party? So once you've gathered the evidence and you're showing the person, listen, this is what I found, it's clear that this is a situation, how hard is it usually for the party to digest?
So I do a lot of prep work with my clients for that. So when I meet them before taking them on, and make them understand all of the risk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's never easy. If somebody's coming to hire us for something sensitive, it's because they're at that point where they've got nowhere else to turn. So it's now or never. They've thought about it. It's not 1 second to the next. It's literally, I've taken weeks, months, years to think about this. I think I'm ready now. So I test them when I talk to them and make them realize to what point, what extent they're ready. Do they want to, if it's like still staying on like the relationship topic, do you want pictures? Do you want me to just tell you what I'm seeing? Do you want to see it? Do you want a video? And if they're like, no, I want pictures, I want to see. Okay, just know that you'll never be able to erase that picture out of your head. Know that, right? And then, so whenever like I make them realize, and I always take pictures regardless, and so back up in case they change their mind, but then it's really realizing to what capacity can you emotionally handle the evidence I'm going to show you. And then when I actually come to doing it, they're ready for it, they're more calm for it, they're stressed. 3/4 of my clients cry, like men or women, they're there, they're emotional, they're vulnerable, so they end up crying, but they'll never get mad at me because, heck, I'm just a messenger, right?
Yeah.
Like, they hired me to find that information, so they saw it coming. But now I'm their best friend because I'm the only person in the world that knows their situation. So now at that point, I'm their shrink. So I'm talking them through it, I'm giving them guidance, like numbers they can call if, they feel depressed or anything like that. Finding out your spouse of 30 years has been cheating on you for 17, let's just say. You know what I mean? Like, that's a hard pill to swallow. So that can put somebody's entire life into perspective. So we really like to ease them into everything that they have to, so that way it's not a bomb I'm dropping on them. It's literally like, I've prepared you for the news you're getting. Are you ready? And if they're not, I won't give them everything right away. And it's just like, okay, call me when you think you're ready. And I kind of give them updates as I go throughout the process as well, so it's not a surprise. It's not like, okay, hi, haven't spoken to you in 2 weeks now. He's cheating on you, But I would like to say a fun fact that's really kind of depressing, especially for whoever's listening. Women cheat more than men. That's a stat.
I've been saying this for years.
Yes.
For years. I told you, because, see, now you activated me. I'm so active. It's mental, and I've been saying it. Guys, and people say, and I'm going to break down cheating, okay? I'm going to break down cheating. This is years of me doing this, knowing it, understanding it. Men cheat because they just cheated. As blunt as it sounds, as idiotic as it sounds, men cheat because they just cheated. But there's no emotional attachment, there's nothing. Women cheat because of an emotional, spiritual connection that happened with another person. And that's why guys, this is for real, this is why guys say, hey, I'm okay with you having guy friends. However, I don't want you to talk to this guy. Why do you think specifically a man is going to say that? Because they know that if, for example, let's say, I don't know, your man knows me, we're friends. However, if he says, hey, I don't want you to talk to that person, it's because he knows the danger of that. He knows what that guy can do is to get into your heads. It's a game. So carry on. I got emotional for it, but like I'm dead ass. Because I swear to God, the day I get married, this finger's gone, retired, I will not cheat.
So you're cheating right now?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, when you get married, like, it's straight. I'm retired officially from the game. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And that means like looking at a shorty walk by and you can't move the neck,
Well, do you have any other questions?
I want to hear about this,
Yeah.
about women cheat more than men.
As much as it was hilarious listening to your little rant, it's true. It's absolutely true. Women are emotional creatures. We need to feel loved. We need to hear that we're loved. We need to be appreciated. We need that. So as soon as it's kind of lacking from one end, we're going to find it somewhere else. Not everybody's like that. There are some people that are extremely loyal, hands down, but nowadays social media's made it way too easy to reach out and get what you're lacking, right? So the attention seeking, the snapping somebody that's not your spouse, all of that kind of stuff. That's increasingly, well, it's devastating to know how much it's increased since all of this kind of stuff made it easy. But women, you're right, we're emotional. We don't just seek sex. Men, it's a physical thing. It's a get it out of your system once. You know, it does happen, like I said, that they have like long-term relationships or completely separate lives. That does happen. But yeah, women tend to cheat more, and it's not a one-time thing. It's they have a relationship on the side.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's being general as well, but yeah, for the most part.
And for guys, have you encountered guys that have relationships on the side as well and not just sex only?
Yeah.
And what do you think leads up to that? Is it because the spouse they're with, I guess it's not emotional, or?
So I've seen it from two angles and I've lived it. So I've had partners where their husbands were cheating on them, had a full-blown relationship with another woman, but it's another woman, the target's much older, woman's much younger. So the mistress, your typical mistress seeking, you know what I mean? And it goes to the men's ego. So that's another thing where men, if you can kind of flaunt their ego, rub it the right way, they like it, right? But then the wife doesn't do that anymore. And the wife has gotten older, doesn't look as attractive, and that's just the facts of aging. So there are some men that will kind of pull them in. And it could be as simple as a new assistant at work, you know what I mean? Like a 23-year-old walking through the door and flaunting her stuff, and next thing you know, they're having late night lunch or, you know, dinner meetings and whatever, and so on and so forth. But then it could also be living a whole other life in their head where they never got over the previous relationship, right? So that happens a lot at our age where somebody's gonna get out of a relationship fast enough, get into another relationship, and then realize, I never got over my ex. This is kind of a fling, or however you wanna call it. And then you realize, or then they realize, like, you know, then they start talking to their ex more, and they're hiding it, they're deleting the conversations on their phone, whatever the case may be. Then they start seeing the ex, and then, you know, so that also happens a lot with men too, is because it takes longer for men to realize what they've lost once it's gone, whereas women, we realize right away, like, shit, we screwed up, we lost something good, and it hurts us right then and there, whereas men, it takes a bit longer to realize to what extent it hurts.
Wow.
And what they've lost.
Actually, I could talk to you the whole day.
Yeah.
But I got one last.
Okay, make it quick though, because we're almost out of
So,
time.
that being said, right, they say women move on quicker in a relationship. Like for example, a girl can date you, but they know it's done. It's only a matter of time. Except for guys, it takes time, right? So, is it true that girls, they just do that one solid crying, and after they're done crying, letting it all out, it's done?
See, I think women, we say that, but it's not true. Like, if you're really in love with somebody, as much as you can move on, you can know that you're not meant to be together, you will still have that love for that person, regardless if it was 3 months later, 4 relationships later. That individual will always be in your heart or in your head at some point in time. So as much as it's true, we'll do the solid cry, we'll do the whatever it takes, the calling a million times, the venting, the repeating the same story a million times over, and then it's done. And then it could take 3 days, it could take 2 weeks, but it's done. But we will never we'll never stop thinking about them, or we'll never, you know, pain will, but it's not overwhelming like it was. So we can kind of just put it to the side.
All right. So where can people find you on social media, your website, all that?
Facebook, Private Eye Ottawa. Private Eye Investigations. Website is www.privateeyeottawa.com. Or they can also find us on LinkedIn. Same thing, Private Eye Investigations. Email or call.
Okay. Well, that was Ashley Sale from Private Eye Investigations. Thank you everyone who sent your questions. It was fun to have them answered. Do you have any last words?
No shout outs.
Thank you guys.
All right, guys. We're going to take a short break. Thank you again for coming, and we'll be back soon.